Shalom, everybody. This is Dave from Universal Truth of Mankind. I am your host. And this is Meditation 201, where I talk about self, not the me, myself, and I, egotistical self, but rather a complete self, where it includes the Creator, includes the soul, includes the mind, includes the body, and that all these have to be connected in order to become the true self we are. Now, before I get rolling, no. Say this often. So please subscribe to both YouTube and to Rumble. I am on both sites. So if I'm deplatformed from one for whatever reason, I'm on the other. I believe in redundancy. Also, please like and share these videos. I make no money on it. I don't sell anything. You'll notice that too. I may recommend things, but I don't have a link for it. So there's no money I'm receiving from your purchases. I'm also not asking anyone to become part of my list for discounts or for being kept up to date. This image here, this illustration, we have spoken to many times already. I'm on video, I think 20 right now. And this particular illustration has been used for most of them. But each time I speak of this, I go from a different perspective, from a different angle. So please go to the description below, go to Meditation 201, and if you have not, start on the very first video and move yourself forward. Now I'm going to ask you, please keep an open mind of what I'm talking about and let the understanding build up and give me a chance to pull things together, because some videos are not completely understood without other videos. So I'm building a context. So please be patient, listen to the videos, and come to your own conclusions, whether they agree with me or not. But I'm trying to give you a perspective. If you have a different perspective, please share that. I'm willing to hear. I would love to hear your perspective. That's what I do in life, is collect perspectives. All right, so we talked about this. The last video, we spoke about the middle column and how we took several of these sephirotes and created a middle column. And we spoke about those middle column sephirotes that you see here. So I want to recap one last time about Genesis 1:1. And if you haven't watched the previous video, at least you can say it a little bit, but I do ask you to watch the previous one, where I associated each one of these Hebrew words to a sephirot, like bara. It should be bereshit, but this is separated because it does enhance this word bara, which is repeated here. So it makes a little more, but really this is one word. There is 7 words within the first, in the Hebrew, in the first verse of Genesis. So let us move forward here, and you'll see the first bara refers to Keter, and I spoke to that. The second word, bara, speaks to Chakma. Elohim speaks to Binah. Zer Anpin speaks to Hashmeim, the waters, the heavens. And then we have Malkut, which is Haaretz. And we ended up coming up with this. Now you will see them in a line, in a row. Keter, Chakma, Binah, Zer Anpin, and Malkut. And I explained in the previous video why Keter, Chakma, and Binah, which appear in a triangular form up top there, where we have Keter, we have Chakma, we have Binah. And this, unfortunately, is more of a modern view, a modern illustration. Like I said, in the past, this really looked more like one. There wasn't a center, left, and right. They really were center. And that's why we have them arranged like this. We have a Keter, Chakma, Binah all in one row here. You can think of them as steps. Now, there's a reason why I meant steps, because in reality, you can look at Zera Anpin as a step, and you can look at Malkut as a step as well. So you can see a process developed here. And why is this important? Because if you read Ashfag's works, he tells us that there are 125 steps to our return to the Creator. Now there's 5 here, and you say, okay, that's 5. How do you get 125? Well, if you take these 5 steps, and each step has 5 steps within it, and those have 5 steps within it, you end up with 125 steps. And this helps us understand, again, our relationship with the Creator. It also helps us how we become self. So I'm going to put the names of God to each one of these sephirots. And that's going to be the beginning of our understanding of those 125 steps. In other words, we descended 125 steps to get where we are. Our goal is to go up 125 steps. Don't worry about going up 125 steps. Try to move up 1 step, 2 steps, 5 steps, 10 steps. Be happy with that. But the idea is progress. If it's a slow progress, fine. If it's a quick one, fine. But while you're doing this, help others as well. So here's a way of looking at this remember, this is the center column now, with the names of the Creator associated to those center columns. You will see Keter, Ehya. Do you remember Ehya? It means I'll be. Some say I am. Nah, it's really I'll be. It's a self-created one. So I am could imply that, but I'll be seems to be, in my mind anyway, understanding the definition of words, a better translation of that. And where did that happen? Did not Moses in Exodus see the burning bush? And he goes up to the burning bush. And who was speaking through the burning bush? I'll be that I'll be. Ehya Asha Ehya. Well, we're talking about Ehya there. And there's Ehya. So that's the Aleph Hey Vav is how that's spelled in Hebrew. And that refers to Keter, the thought of creation. There's going to be other associations I'm going to make to this in future videos, so please stay tuned and please make sure you spend time watching those too. I haven't made them yet, but I will be making them soon. Now we have Hakma. That's the second one. And that is associated with Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. YHVH, as in English. That's the designer of creation. So that creates the blueprint of creation from the thought of creation in all of its details. It's just like you and I, well, all of us, when we have an idea, we think it through and we come up with a design. Am I 2 people? No, I'm a single person. I'm a singularity in this case. In my mind, I'm a singularity. I'm not talking about multiple people here. I'm not talking about multiple entities. This is the same, well, it's a bad choice of words, but the same person. It's the same entity. It's a singularity here. So what did it create? What I call the true testament? The Torah. The Torah is the design. If you follow the Zohar, you will see that the Torah, when you really look deep into it, you look at the numerical values of letters, you look at the meanings of the individual words, you look at the sentences, what they say and what they don't say, you come up with an understanding of the design of creation. And you start seeing many things in the Torah that we call science in our world, what we call frequencies, electromagnetics, and electricity, and so forth. You can see that being portrayed in the Torah. So if someone comes to me and says, "Oh, the Torah's been done away with," so I say, "What are you mad? You mean we're supposed to live not according to the will or to the thought of creation, to the design of creation?" That's a fallacy you have to get out of your mind. So then we go to Binah. Binah is Elohim. We already hinted to that already by looking at verse 1 of Genesis. And that's the fabricator, the tool that created creation. So you and I, we have a thought, we do a design, and then we create the tools and we make whatever it is that we need to. Sometimes we have a thought, we have an idea, but we don't have the technology to bring it forth. So we have to have the technology. The creator has the thought, and then it does a design, and then it creates the tools and facilitates the creation. And again, like you and I, we do all three of these. Do we not? Most of the time, we do all three of these. Yes, sometimes we may talk to others and consult others, but we do that when we're trying to learn about certain disciplines, certain perspectives. But remember, God has all perspectives and beyond. So it doesn't need consultation or anything. So again, we're not talking about three people here. We're not talking about a trinity here. I sometimes let go with the idea of a triunity, but only in the sense that this is a singularity. And so those are the three names. This is Genesis 1. This is revealed when? When is it revealed? To Moses. And then, of course, we see this later on also within scriptures. So let's go down one more. Zeir Anpin. Not one more, but the next step. Zeir Anpin. That's the perfect man. And that is called Yud He Vav He, Elohim. That's the balance of design and creation. You may be saying to yourself, what do you mean a balance? If this is a singularity, if you're thinking very clearly here, if I am saying this is a singularity, then how can this be a balance? You can't have a balance if you have a singularity. This is why I say the first three are really one. They should not be portrayed in this triangular form. They really should be pulled together and should be one in the center column here. That's the way that should look. When does this name first appear? After day 6. What happened in day 6? Man was created in the image of the Creator. Man was created in this image. These 6 sephirots, these 6 days, these waters, this is the 6 heavens that we see in Genesis 1. Now, granted, we are a reflection of this, but we are not a perfect reflection of this. These in us are all out of balance, and we are to work on this balancing act. Simply by asking, the Creator will slowly transform this. And through reincarnation, it may take several generations before this is complete. And this is called Zeir Anpin. What does this mean? It means small face, little face, versus the big face. So this is a balancing situation. Why is it balancing? Because we have to bring down the thought of creation, the design of creation, and replicate the fabricator of creation, bring down the tools, the 6 days, the 6 sephirots, which is going to take many lifetimes, many years, there's a limit to that, and it will eventually return. It's not a never to happen thing. To bring it down to Malkut, so we have a back and forth reaction going between the two, and we slowly in ourselves take the design of creation, emulate the fabricator of creation. We transform ourselves, which will transform Malkut. Okay, now what is Malkut? It's Adonai. Now you may be saying to yourself, wait a minute, this is a little bit confusing. If this is that tree that we were looking at, when we're looking at the center column, and now we're looking at the names, and we are to do a balancing act, so to speak, where we transform to make this different, then how is that in God? Well, remember what I said. There's a cascading effect. There's 5 within a 5 within 5. 5 squares, 125 steps. Now, I'm not going to describe that in full because you can go to Ashlog's works, and I prefer that you do and look at it there. But you have to understand what's being referred to here. The Sephirots, the names of the Creator. And we're going to go to other things that are related to this. And then little by little, you can create that cascade. And you better understand 125 steps that take place in Ashlog. Now, real quick, I know it was in the last video, but I want to make this understood. Let's focus on Zero Anpin for a moment. Here is Zero Anpin, little face, being divided. The 5, this is split, which eventually creates this illustration. Now, as I said, I talked about it before, but I want to hit one more thing. If this is the big face and this is the little face, then what are we? Because we are an imperfect image of this. So it's 1, 2, 3. 5 times 5 times 5. There's 5 of these. There's 5 of these in here. And there's 5 of these in here. A total of 125 steps. Which brings us back to this visual with the names. I hope this helps. Have a great day, everybody, and stay tuned. I have more videos. I'm going to have more information here. I'm going to add on a few more categories here so you can understand better our relationship to the Creator and who we are, so we truly can be ourselves. Shalom, everybody.